It was an interesting moment for me at the time because I really wasn't seeking someone or anyone, I should say. I just hoped if I did meet someone that they would be a positive person to meet. Everything he was saying and doing was making me fall in love with him.
A lot of people quit going, that's just how it got to be. But she keeps on fighting and it takes a lot of guts. No justice, no peace!
You two are like two immature cartoon characters.
Objection. Where's any of this evidence of this?
Order! I'm sanctioning you for $15,000.
I have a right to see my son.
This is all about a child. A poor boy born into a battle. Even with your lies, I gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive, gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive. This is not justice! No justice! No justice! No justice! No peace! No justice!
You're trying to have a judge removed.
I'll sanction her for thousands of dollars for coming to court.
How much money is Mr. K and Mr. E paying you and your fellow judges to keep this woman away from her child?
Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive, gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gotta survive, gonna survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I'm gonna survive. Even with your lies.
Welcome to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network, where we're coming live. Woo! Okay, yes, God got me up this morning. So I have to say, thank you, Jesus, for doing that for me. I appreciate that because, decisions could be made, and I was able to say I love you to all my children. So, and thank you for being able to do this show, because I like doing this show. I like communicating and I like speaking to people and I like doing stuff. I think change is within. So this is my contribution, is to try to help people and understand that, hey, we're all not perfect individuals. So why act like it? We all have our flaws. We have our struggles and our challenges and testimonies and why we do stuff. You know what I mean? That's a good question. It's why do we do the things we do? Some good, some bad. And, I try to bring that on my platform to help other people to understand, hey, I'm like you. We're all living this life and one day at a time. I can't see next week. I can't even see the next day. I just hope I get there. And whatever I got to do to get through that day, that's all I ask for. And it's very difficult sometimes because you don't know what you're walking into when you wake up. First of all, you get an opportunity to wake up and you don't know how the day is going to go. You can even plan, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to do this, and everything's going to, go smoothly. But that's not always the case. And so I have to pray for guidance and protection for my loved ones. I do that daily, maybe even 3 times a day. But because I just don't know. But I think the main thing that's important that I always have to remember and remind myself as I go through a process of whatever that may be for me, enjoy it. And just enjoy that process. If it's, doing something for my kids as them being adults or doing something for myself or my mom, because I have an elderly, I do take care of her as well. She needs assistance because these elderly ages are different for her. So I have to help her get through that as well. And I have my own stuff I have to go through too. So, we just don't know what that process is all the time. We don't know what we're going to think about or what kind of emotion we're going to have, for that moment. And when are we going to come off that roller coaster? Because sometimes these emotions go up and down. One day a doctor tells you some news that you didn't expect, and then you're in shock how to deal with that news. And now you have to go through trying to figure out a plan, and that's something like in my life as well. There's things that I didn't expect to hear, and I go through it, and I have to deal with it. And some things it's just like, wow, how did this happen? And then you're just like, okay, so what do I do? How do I go forward? But one thing I will say, the greatest thing that I have to say, I know God gives me the strength to deal with whatever is going to come my way. But what he does do is bring it to me. And before it gets worse or something has really escalated to a point that it's like in no return. So I'm glad that that's the kind of protection I ask God to do for me. And I hope anyone who's listening to me now could ask for God to protect you in that way. So then if something was to come about in your life towards a negative, I hope he will protect you so you can get through it. It was caught early and you can guys go through it and, deal with the process of it. And that's what I have to say. That's how life works, people. That's what it is. Unfortunately, I don't skip out of that either. I do this show, but like I said, when the show's over, my other show is continued. And that means my day, my life day. What kind of decisions I'm going to have to make that day. What am I going to have to go through? And that's all I ask and tell you and explain. I'm in this human life with you, people, the struggles to success, to stay positives. Try to stay positive as much as possible. Not every day you want to be positive. There's some days that you have doubts, and that's just part of life. But you do have to be realistic in some areas. I understand that, but sometimes you just gotta don't go down that road heavy. Try to lift yourself back up. And that's what I always try to remind myself. So with that being said, I have my amazing guest. I'm going to bring her on and when we take a commercial, but she was here last week. So don't go nowhere, fam. We'll be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Don't go nowhere, fam. We'll be right back. Hello, all. 3 Corners of Deception movie is now available on Prime Video. How about that? October 14, 2023, on my 50th birthday, I am going to release this, and you guys can go ahead and help me do just that. Go see that movie. Thank you for all the support and not giving up on me. Go see that 3 Corners of Deception. Release me from all the pain and everything I've been through. Go see the movie. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you for all of the support. Go see that movie. Prime Video. Prime Video. How about that? God bless you all. I love you all. It was really hard for me to do that movie sometime because 10 years ago is what I went through. It wasn't then. So I had to take, even they say you play yourself. It's not really always easy to play yourself. You have to play yourself 10 years ago when your mind was discombobulated and you felt betrayed. You know what I mean? You felt like, life was just not it. And, not in my situation. And it is based on true events. And, unfortunately, it's about judicial deception, but it's also about romance and drama and divorce. It's something that just went to a different way. But as I changed it and went into a movie. But what's interesting about this situation, people don't understand. It's a flow technique for me. That was my release to finish this movie. Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Well, we're coming live. Ooh. Yes, we are. We're coming live. Okay. Before I came back, I know my engineer hit the Knicks out there. I'm going to hit the Celtics out there. So, go Celtics. Knicks too. But I'm going to say whoever's winning. Just to make him laugh. Whoever's doing a good job. How's that? I go always. I love the game. I love a good game. So there you go. Well, you know what? Before we went on break, I was getting ready to tell you about my amazing guest. She was here last week, and I just want to say this is another beautiful scarf from Jodi Reconciliation Resources Boutique. And I don't know, let me stand up for a second. Here you go. You see how beautiful that is? And it's pure silk and it's so pretty. I think I stated this last week. They handmade these and painted. So it's like, oh my gosh, all these beautiful colors. And I just had to wear this. I was just so appreciative of the gift that she offered to me. And, you know, her website is on there too when she comes in. But this is so beautiful. And I have to show you this too, this bag. This is another bag that came in. But you know what? Because a promise is forever, I just love that. Let me see that. That is so cool. In the back of it, it's so pretty too. I love that. And it's kind of hard to see that, but like I said, her website is there as well. I think it's Love Pure Light, and it's very lightful. So there you go. But it's beautiful. You can, and not just that, you can use it for your off, but you can use it for other things too. You know, I love utilizing everything I have. So this is beautiful, very much. Thank you. Thank you to her. Okay, last week she came on my show. We talked about her and the identification of herself. And you know, today I want to bring her back on because I want to know about her. Why does she do the things she do? Because a woman is a pioneer. She does a lot of things, but she's amazing because she's a reverend too. And it's just she's full of light. And I know when I speak to her, I feel joyful. I feel filled. Oh, my cup is full when I talk to her. It's like a fresh cup of lemonade. And that's how I think about this individual. And we're in the same field. So I love the way she does life and she goes at it. So come on in here with me so I can introduce Reverend Jodi Bryant. Come on in here to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Welcome back, my dear. Thank you. Coming back to the show.
Good to see you again. You look beautiful. The scarf colors are perfect. Sydney from Parksville loves your light. Way to go. We picked the right ones for her. And yes, bless you. This one is forever also. It's a different one, a little bit different.
Yes, it's beautiful. I love it. It's beautiful. It goes good with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it is awesome.
Yes.
It is a beautiful color. I love it. I mean, honestly, this is so pretty. I'm just like, yeah, I'm feeling good. I am so appreciative.
For all of you of JBRR. If you go to Love's Pure Light, you'll see there's a promo for any of you, and a percentage goes. Both of us are in the counseling field, mental health field, so proceeds go to help others have free counseling. So thank you.
Wow, I love it. That's awesome. They should take advantage of these people. I mean, you heard it here on the Dr. Meleeka Clary. You get a discount and it go ahead and it supports free service. Wait a minute, did I say that right? Free services. Okay. I'm pro bono. But hey, I like to meet other people who things like free. So, because there's no excuse when it's free. To me, it's like, okay, so you take out the financial burden out of it and you do something for free without getting any financial, monies for it. And you don't look at that. So that's like a headache for people. That's the first thing they think about. Well, how much is it going to cost? No, it's free. I just could go on and on about that. You know what, Jodi? I'm so glad that you came back on the show. Last week we talked about you and the identification of yourself. And, I have a couple of questions about, besides you're a counselor and consulting and, and mental health, I want to know, first of all, why do you do the things you do?
That's a loaded question, too. I think it's been progressive. I came from a family like we all do, and we all experience things. So my desire was to become a teacher. So when I became a teacher, my heart loved all the curriculum, but I loved the children the most, doesn't matter what age, what grade. And I learned there was so much going on behind the scenes in the kids and in the youth that I'm like, what's going on here? And I got my heart involved so much into the students that I thought, you know what? I want to come back. I want to be a counselor. I want to use my teaching and use that platform, sharing, speaking, loving kids in the public system, private, wherever. And so I went and got my coaching. Executive coaching, I felt that would help. And then I thought, whoa, they're deep. They need a lot more. And I went and got counseling. So that was, and then I realized a lot of people got stuck in the spiritual, emotional, and mental. And so I thought, well, I better, kind of really develop that, and thought I would do my ordination. And so it's been a lifelong of education, and I believe in that we're lifelong learners, be it platform academic or trade or wherever we are in life experience. And so that was kind of the journey. And I really felt God led me with my own wounds. So when we have wounds, it seems like when and as we heal, He tends to put us in the field to help others in those areas. So we branched to charity for divorce care, grief share, kinship care, blended and blessed, parenting, love bus, street ministry, and also prison. And it just morphed over the last 7 years, and there's all volunteers. And so that's Reconciliation Resources. And then we have Life Change Coaching, Counseling, and Consulting as the company. And then we have a mental health home too. So that's kind of how it encompassed my journey.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, it's definitely a testimony and a journey to go through the process of finding why you want to do something, because I have similar background as well. I have been a college professor for 15 years. And the thing what led me to want to do that is to guide them to success within themselves. You know what I mean? To help them make better decisions, think more positive, try to do something, figure it out a little earlier. You know what I mean? And then some people that even it was early on, I will receive other people that has been in my class that's older and been through life and decided to go ahead and check in college now. And I would listen to these individuals. I mean, I'm going to tell you, my oldest student was 60 years old. And I don't remember how old I was. I think at that time when I did have that student, I might have been 28 years old. And I was like, wow, you're going back to school. It was just amazing. But she loved my class. She loved what I was teaching. And we had such a wonderful dialogue. And that passion of helping people find their direction was just so wonderful. So kudos to you as being a teacher, because people need to know or get some type of recognition when you guide an individual to self-satisfaction, I will say. And that's a lot, because I quote some of my teachers too, and they are wonderful. So thank you for sharing that. And with that being said, of course, we're going to take a brief commercial, and we'll be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Do not go nowhere, fam. We are still with the amazing and beautiful Reverend Jodi.
I'm a human being, but I'm not perfect. And I have my own flaws, but I'm working in progress. And if you're trying to change something, you're able to do it. You have the power, you have the key to your own success. And with that being said, I'm just glad that I'm able to do this and share other people's testimonies. And I'm so glad that there's many guests that I've already had on the show that have expressed their, challenges or what they've been going through or went through in their life. And I say that it's because they're not perfect. So it's good that they express that.
Because you mentioned and said, I believe in God and I surrendered. And when someone is addicted to something, it's a challenge. It's tough. What was that moment that you said, I can't do it anymore?
Well, in book number 2, I talk about how I've been to prison. My prison number is 589931. I'll have that number for the rest of my life. It's just not a functional number. I talk about how I was delivered from a homosexual lifestyle. I talk about how I had a man that left me for another man. I talk about how I had a man that was HIV but never told me, but I'm sitting here today. I don't have AIDS, HIV. And I have a lot of people always say, your immune system was so strong. No, that was the blood of Jesus that covered me.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. We're coming live. Woo. We are still with the amazing Reverend Jodi. Come on in here. All right. Yes. So, my next question is going to have to be that what made you be a reverend and how did that come about? Because, you have so much to offer. And I'm just amazed at what led you that direction as well.
Thank you. Yeah, ordination was so far out. I grew up without the world of church, and then in youth group, we ended up at a Pentecostal Assemblies church, and I ended up having leadership skills and never really used them in the world of ministry, but used them in education and supervising and training and teaching. And I really wanted to work on healing and healing ministry. And so when I was working in the church just as a volunteer, I got so much excitement and love out of all the different healing ministries, working with spiritual care, emotional care, recovery groups. And I had a really good leadership of men that really believed in women, and they really encouraged me. I felt like, well, I wonder, you get a BA and then you get a BEd and then you get a master's and then I'm like, another BA, should we, what do we do? But as I went, I started in the credentialing, learning what a licensed pastor is, because my husband, was a pastor. And I felt the calling too. He moved into mental health, but I really felt a calling to continue and to give back to the church denomination that really helped me heal as a younger girl. And we went back to the PAOC world. And these gentlemen and mentors, they were teachers too at one point, and they just really encouraged me to shoot for the highest level and for credibility with Life Change to have that, and for credibility with running an organization and a charity. It just felt like the right thing, and I needed to grow. And I believe in education all the way. Mentors taught me to read a book a week. Not that I do all the time anymore, but that's my goal. I've got 40 on my list. But as you know, and so I thought, well, I'll look at the pastoral leadership ministries kind of concept. And by doing that, it had the credentials and the coursework for me to actually work on ordination. And I was either going to do doctoral work or this ordination. It took as long. And I felt led, and I felt the credibility that would help me. It helps me believe in my own self, going down a pathway of an educational route to kind of feel somewhat prepared, to be able to help others and to be a pastor of an organization rather than a church and like a parent church, right? Group. Yeah. And so that's kind of where it was it was a sense, it was the right supervisors, the right people around that kind of embraced me and encouraged me to grow, and it challenged me. And I still want to do a doctorate if I can in the future. I mean, if you've got students at 60, I'm in my mid 50s, maybe I'll come and get my doctorate eventually. Hey. But but I'm
possible, in church, right?
Many things. I so believe that too, and I believe each day is a learning. Your church, that denomination that really helped me heal. You kind of see people that helped you grow when you're in grade 8, and they're still in ministry and they're still doing outreach and loving people. And so it was inspirational, and it was life changing, and it was a thing I never thought I could do. But when I look in the family line, and there's pastors, in the family line, I'm like, wow. And for them to believe in women and to believe in me and to say, you go, girl, you've got God, you've got your husband, you've got the denomination, you go do what God's called you to do in the vision and mission he's given you. And that's how Life Change birthed first as volunteer. I did all of it volunteer, all of it. Wow. And then it moved into a corporation, and then we developed a charity where we did that. Now to find the balance is tough. So the ordination is just another level of academic credibility for my own, maybe sometimes for our own insecurities too. I don't think we need it. If God has called you to lead and people say, I want to follow you, then it's powerful. But if I want to lead and tell them they have to follow me, that's not where I want to go. So I kind of thought, what can I do for the world of people to help them feel safe with me and trust me. And one is academic credentials that do help, right? You don't need them as a child of God. God equips the called, but it just made sense for me, and that was years ago, and I'm very glad I did that.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Your business now, let me just remind me here. When you say, so is this the business or the charity? Because you're executive director, clinical supervisor of life change coaching, counseling, and consult. Is that the charity's name, or that's where you work? Like,
okay,
what
so
is the business name?
life change is the coaching, counseling, and consulting. So that makes the money.
Okay.
Reconciliation Resources is the recovery with all the different programming and outreach. Life Change will support that. We have donors that support that. We have partners that support that, and everyone volunteers. And our budget isn't huge because our goal is to get out there and love people and walk with them through recovery. But we have a big group of what you would call volunteers or core facilitators and leaders. So it started back in our Reconciliation started as a music ministry way back for healing and raising funds for people and opening for evangelists back in the world of Victoria way back in late 90s, early 2000s. And it just morphed into not just music, but into recovery and healing. So it kind of started way back with songwriting as a lonely little pastor's wife on an island, feeling like, what am I doing here? I don't know anything. I'm a pastor's wife all of a sudden. And I wrote music by the water and then developed that. So Life Change is the main business now. And it overlaps with RR in the world of those that I supervise for their master's program. In arts, they will volunteer as counselors for the programming, and they will help with the small groups, and they'll do that for their hours. And so it's kind of a neat setup for that. And RR just morphs. If somebody has a calling, or I remember when we were doing interviewing, we were saying, if people wanted to donate in the world of church and evangelism, where would you do it? What would you put your time and money into? Where would you put your time and money into? And what's in the city that's not there yet that we could help? And as that happened over the last decade, that's where all these came up. All of these programs came up, and the right leaders came, and they went through it, and they became leaders. And so it just morphed. And there was, a real... I forgot that I was a leader, I forgot that, you think you're a mom, you think you're a teacher. Remember, we're talking about identity and all the labels we have, hats, but there's the other part too.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute, hold on to that part, because I want you to explain that. We're going to take a brief commercial, because I was going to go ahead. I mean, you do so much. And like I said, this leadership, this fellowship, everything is just amazing. I'm just eating it all up. I don't want to miss nothing. But we are going to take a brief commercial. We'll be right back with Clary on Brave TV Network with the amazing Reverend Jodi. Do not go nowhere, fam. We'll be right back.
It was because of me having a voice and saying something about what had happened to me, because I can't believe it. I can't believe that these individuals put their good name and their reputation on the line just to hurt somebody because they spoke up. Yes, see, that's what happens when you speak up. I get it, but I'm not fearful because of that. Even though I went through a lot and still go through a lot of things, I got God on my side, and I feel like if that is not enough, then I don't know what it is, because I'm still standing and I'm still telling my story, and I'm going to keep on telling stories. And that is why I like film, because film, you'll be able to express things that you went through and experiences and people. You'll be amazed what you can do. It was really hard for me to do that movie sometime, because at that time, because 10 years ago is what I went through. It wasn't then. So I had to take, even they say you play yourself. It's not really always easy to play yourself. You have to play yourself 10 years ago. when your mind was discombobulated and you felt betrayed. You know what I mean? You felt like, life was just not it. And, not in my situation. And it is based on true events. And, unfortunately, it's about judicial deception, but it's also about romance and drama and divorce. It's something that just went to a different way. But as I changed it and went into a movie. But what's interesting about this situation, people don't understand. It's a flow technique for me. That was my release to finish this movie.
I'm laughing. I'm sorry because my engineer just wants to throw something there. Go Celtics! Woo! See, I get to do it online. He does it behind the scenes. So, welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. We're coming live. Woo! We are still with the amazing and beautiful and talented Reverend Jodi. Come on in here. Oh, yes. All right. Yeah, you brighten up there. Okay, there you go. All right. You know what? Before we went on break, we was talking about, you was talking about parts and how we identify leaders and followers and things like that. I think you was going into what you meant by that or what we really recognize about it. You know what I mean? So if you want to continue, you can go for it. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think, how you were saying, you're a professor and you did filming and acting. We were talking even last week about identity. And I was just doing my teaching and then moved into the coaching and then moved into the, healing and what does that need? And then the counseling and then the ordination. And it kind of this progression of growth as somebody who wants to learn and grow and has the opportunity. But you kind of I kind of lost a bit of my identity in not realizing, well, I'm a leader. I didn't really think of it that way until the last couple of years when I met you down at IAOTP, right, where we were all honored. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm actually a leader. Why am I not putting that hat on and continuing and helping others in that, not just directing? But I think we sometimes, when we were talking about, who is my identity and who am I and how do I see myself, and you were talking about that too, that we do forget that. We do sometimes forget, well, we're a mom, we're a child of God. We, clean our homes, we do our chores, but those are our normal kind of roles. And then we kind of say, well, we're a teacher or a counselor or educator or speaker. But it just feels sometimes interesting when we don't remember, we're not cognizant of how we're seen by others. Well, you're a leader of, and it took even the last couple of years with the, little articles you're writing and interviews and shows or what we're doing that are organically growing us and helping in our branding. I'm like, wow, that really helped me to have others tell me what they saw in me when I answered questions and how they helped me. And it just made me remember I'm a leader called to do what I'm called to do. And it just brings so much joy and peace when you kind of find where you fit and you're in that zone. But it's organic and it grows and it has new rhythms. And you kind of wonder what's next then,
Yeah, it gets exciting. I mean, you know what? Like I said, it's like you get to that goal. You're like, okay, I quit my taste with that. But what's next? And it's like, okay. And it's interesting that you had also mentioned that, I may get my doctorate. You never know. And I say that to myself, I might go back to law school. You never know. I'm working on wanting to complete, and already complete the script of Boston Girls, the movie. That's kind of like my dream. So we'll see. But it's still like a goal. But it gives me motivation. And when I get up in the morning, that is something I say, hey, okay, what am I going to do to get to, I want to say, well, going towards that. You know what I mean? An opportunity. What am I doing to work towards that? First of all, I need to keep a positive attitude that it can happen. You know what I mean? And because once you complete a movie, it's like, okay, it's done. You complete a movie. Now, yeah, checklist. What else to do? Before I used to say to myself, wow, I actually did a movie. And I still say to this day, I I did a movie.
Yeah, we're supposed to. Yeah, you're right. We're supposed to be processing and taking the time to debrief of all the wonderful things that God puts in our lives to do. We're not too old. I remember even last June, I remember thinking, well, okay, I'll set aside the country gospel music convention. It's been a while. I haven't gone there. Oh, I'm probably way too old in my 50s. So should I even be songwriting anymore? Kind of like trying to be realistic. And then I find out there's 80-year-olds, 70-year-olds. They're singing, they're doing great things. And it just woke me up last year. Like, just a minute, who am I to play God and say I'm too old or not old enough?
Exactly.
It really was a really good learning curve. Like, if I'm going to sing, I'll sing. I ended up getting all these different awards. And I'm like, how dare I halt my own self thinking I can move forward? So we get in our own way, don't we?
You know what? Not just that, but the system too. People think, oh, you didn't finish school at this time, or you didn't have a child at this age, or you didn't get married at this time. I think part of that is how people think. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some scientific things speaking, well, this might happen if you have a child at this age, or maybe this and that. But really, if you're biblical, come on, think about it. They were popping them at 96 years old. Are you serious right now? I mean, you got to think about it. If you're biblical, you think differently. You don't think that that's it. You know what I mean? I watched the video the other day. This gentleman was 100 years old, and he was dancing and break dancing. And I said, "Are you serious?" And he looked like he's 110 too, and he was doing his thing. But it was amazing to see, and he was just moving. And I said, "110, really?" And I know that, to me, when you look at what life would have been if there was no sin, how old you would really get to. That's young compared to 750 years old. But it's still amazing to see there's life in that soul. And I don't put no limitation on what I can do in this world. And when somebody says you're old, I really want to say to you, that's your shortcomings, and that's your life, and that's how you view yourself. Don't put that upon me, because I don't look at life like that. And on that note, we're going to take a brief commercial.
Amen.
Amen, baby.
Three Corners of Deception movie is now available on Prime Video. How about that? October 14, 2023, on my 50th birthday, I am going to release this, and you guys can go ahead and help me do just that. Go see that movie. Thank you for all the support and not giving up on me. Go see that. Three Corners of Deception. Release me from all the pain and everything I've been through. Go see the movie. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you for all of the support. Go see that movie. Prime Video. Prime Video. How about that? God bless you all. I love you all.
Because you mentioned and said, I believe in God and I surrendered. And when someone is addicted to something, it's a challenge. It's tough. What was that moment that you said, I can't do it anymore?
Well, in book number 2, I talk about how I've been to prison. My prison number is 589931. I'll have that number for the rest of my life. It's just not a functional number. I talk about how I was delivered from a homosexual lifestyle. I talk about how I had a man that left me for another man. I talk about how I had a man that was HIV but never told me, but I'm sitting here today, I don't have AIDS, HIV. And I have a lot of people always say, your immune system was so strong. No, that was the blood of Jesus that covered me.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Welcome in live. We are still with the amazing Jodi, Reverend Jodi. Come on in here, my dear.
So
You're welcome, my dear. Hey, you know what? This is what we do. Jodi, it's always a pleasure, you hear the fascinating things that you do. And I know before we were we went on break, I was talking about people's shortcoming. And I think that's why we are in the field of psychology. We're trying to get you to change your mindset, your thinking patterns. Because, okay, yeah, we are going to get old. Come on, people. You can be your worst enemy by keep on mentioning, I'm old. Does that always feel good that you want to say, I'm old? What do old means to you is that life is going to be over. Is that what you want to say to yourself all the time? Why don't you just deal with it? Okay, you get 51, you get 52, you get 53. Yes, okay, thank you. I'm going to have a good time. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm rocking to forever 21. That's how I feel. But let me have my moment. Okay. But I'm just telling people that it's where you're thinking. Change your perception, change your thinking. I'm not saying don't be realistic on things. Yeah, I know you can't do a jump shot all the time because your bones are this and that, and you might come down differently. But that doesn't mean that you can't still hop.
Right.
Gotta do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm just saying, change your perception so you won't, decrease your time and your thinking, and you won't welcome depression. I think that
That's
is
right.
so important because people, depression is real, but you're putting it on you. Do you see that when you say life changing? Do you see that people are more their worst enemies? I mean,
Yeah.
I believe you will see that because life changing, and that is life changing.
Yeah.
Explain
People.
to me.
Yeah. Yeah. We kind of, like we were saying too, like we can get in the way of ourselves and interrupt our own path from our negative sentiment, override or our limitations. And one thing that taught me back in university, nobody was able to get this scholarship, and I had no way to go. And I remember filling it out, wondering about it, praying about it, like, what if I could get this full ride President's Entrance scholarship? And I got so many people, well, no, nobody gets that. Nobody gets that. And I remember one day going, well, why not me? Why not? What if I could? That was a real changing, because everyone around, there's just no way. It was Trinity Western University. There was no way. It's very expensive back then. Worse now, right? But I remember talking to God and having my time, filling it out and saying, why can't I try? Why not me? And I got
That's
one
right.
of them. I got one of them. And from that day, from back when I was 17, 18, I'm like, I'm going to try to keep that fire. But it's interesting, the curves in life, right? We do hold ourselves back sometimes with our insecurity
Yes, we do.
and our hurts and hang-ups. But it just reminded me today to not forget that. You can lose that part of our identity, that why not me, whether I'm 60, 50 or not. What if there is more and God has more for us, and we hold ourselves back and forget that there's more for us?
That's right. You know what? And you said it perfectly. Maybe we are self-destructive.
We can be, right?
With all the doubt. Yeah, with all the doubt, with all the negativity, with all that, you wake up and you're like, this doubt already laid for you. And what are you doing with that? I mean, seriously, I tell people, you don't need negative people. You are negative yourself. I mean, you don't need a crew. You could do this yourself. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we do as self-human beings. I was telling an individual the other day, I think I felt that I would be more hard on myself when something don't go as planned. And I'm like, you know what? That's me. I don't need to be hard on me. It's what I want to do. I need to say, hey, okay, move on to the next thing. Or maybe a little patience or something. And that's what I used to think in the past. But like you said, like I always have to say this, and you too, we go through challenges and testimonies and experiences. And how do we share and care? We explain that we went through something. This is what I've had before. I've had self-doubt and change. So what led me into psychology is because I got enough. I felt like, you know what? I had enough. I had enough of that. I want to change this, but I had to change me. And maybe if I could change me, then I can contribute to changing someone else. And I think that to me, this is why I went to school for 15 years. Now, it probably didn't take that long, but I kind of like went through bumps and hurdles and humps and whatever in my life. So nothing just came easy, people. Just to let you know. Okay. Getting that doctorate degree was the hardest thing to me. I'm telling you, I've had a professor in my master's that said, "Oh, you're not going to get that." He said, "Don't even worry. Don't even try to get that." Don't get me wrong. I love him to death. I thought he was great. I think he was being more realistic to what he was thinking. Like, girl, you got a little more odds against you to even go ahead and try. And I understood what he meant, but then it also reverse psychology he probably was doing too. Like, go do it anyway. I don't care what he said. Run after it anyway. So what I have maybe a color issue that might hold me back, or a that might hold me back, or maybe finances might hold me back. But I didn't stop. And maybe some other people who didn't want to give me the degree might hold me back too. But I didn't. And I've had a lot of those challenges, and it didn't stop me. And I was like, you know what? I'm gone. I'm going. And all the way to the bitter end. And I mean bitter end. It did not come easy to get that degree. I'm not kidding. I had to get rid of a committee member for and you know, whatever, she has some personal issues. And me and my head committee member was like, no, there's something wrong with this situation. So we had to move mountains towards the end. But that's somebody else's struggle. That's somebody else's problem. And, you know, like I said, you go through these different things, and that kind of defines us. So when I tell people, you know, you could do anything you want to do, but don't be as hard on yourself, because you are your worst enemy when you do that. And I think that is the biggest problem. And I'm so glad that you're in the field of psychology and counseling and consulting, because we need people like you. We need people like me. And to be not perfect, how's that? Not perfect, but be a little example. Yeah, not be perfect.
Perfectly imperfect.
There you go. Wonderful. I love it. I love it. Love it. And on that note, we are going to take a brief commercial. And we will be right back on the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Do not go nowhere. We'll be right back with the wonderful and beautiful and talented Reverend Jodi Bryant.
Thank you.
It was an interesting moment for me at the time, because I really wasn't seeking someone, or anyone, I should say. I just hoped if I did meet someone, that they would be a positive person to meet. Everything he was saying and doing was making me fall in love with him.
Custody. A lot of people quit going, that's just how it got to be. But she keeps on fighting, and it takes a lot of guts. No justice, no peace!
You two are like two immature cartoon characters. Objection. Where's any of this evidence of this?
Order.
I'm sanctioning you for $15,000.
I have a right to see my son.
This is all about a child. A poor boy born into a battle. Even with your lies, I gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive, gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive. This is not justice. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice.
You're trying to have a judge removed.
I'll sanction her for thousands of dollars for coming to court.
How much money is Mr. K and Mr. G paying you and your fellow judges to keep this woman away from her child?
Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive, gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gotta survive, gonna survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I'm gonna survive.
Welcome back to the Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. We're coming live. Woo! We are still with the amazing, talented Reverend Jodi Bryant. Come on in here, my girl. All right, there we go. I was like, when's she coming? She coming back. Okay, good. You know what, Jodi? It's been a wonderful time having you as a guest these past couple weeks. And I've just learned so much. And I know my viewers have as well. I'm just so blessed to have many special, wonderful guests that are doing amazing things. But I do want you to repeat, how can people support you? I know we have the website up there. You want to mention your contact information. If you have social media, that's fine. And I'm sure they can Google your business and stuff like that. If you can mention that, because I know we're getting ready to go off on the air. So why don't you mention those
Right.
things for me?
Well, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. It's been a
You're
blessing.
welcome.
And I feel sometimes with our connections, there's always more that comes down the road. So I'm looking forward to see how God
Yes.
weaves all of us in the future. So it's Jodi Bryant, and it's
That'd be
life
great.
change coaching, counseling, and consulting in the Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canadian area. And Reconciliation Resources is also on Facebook's the fastest, or Google's the fastest to find us. And you can just go to the website. There's Life Change website. There's our website. Those are basically simply, you just put in Jodi Bryant Saskatoon Counselor. Boom, you should be able to kind of
Right.
catch me and text me or email me. That would be great. Love's Pure Light is a partner with us. They donate proceeds to help us when any of you purchase with
Yes.
the code JODRR. You're welcome to pay. You pay full, and the percentage will come to us, and it will be done with great integrity to make sure we support those that can't have counseling or that need recovery programs. So that would just be phenomenal. You can reach me that way. Be blessed, and thank you for letting me
Wonderful.
be part of your story, Dr. Meleeka. And
Oh,
wonderful.
thank
It's
you. You're
wonderful.
welcome. Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, it's always a blessing. Like I said, I never know what people or who, what walks of life, and all the people that I meet during the International Association of Top Professionals Gala. But that was my second time around, and actually, it's going to be a third time with God's permission here. I was just nominated or awarded with the top professional of clinical psychology of the decade. So, yeah, they just awarded me with that. So I'm very happy with that. I'm like, yay! So God's willing, hopefully I'll be in Vegas. I think that's when they're going to, do that one as well, the award ceremony. And so, I'm just grateful that this is what comes out of. You meet many people all over the world, and you was a blessing. That you're right, I know you now. Maybe you'll be back on this show and we'll talk about some more life changing, because you bring so many different gifts, and not even just that, you're just a light of sunshine, and you want to help people. And I think that's I know that's my mission. And trying to help people within themselves. And I think
Mhm.
when I meet people who has that heart to do that, I like to gravitate towards them. I used to like to just hold them and close. We're doing things, and Oh my goodness, that just happened. I froze at the last bit. Well, I just want to say thank you again to Jodi, Reverend Jodi Bryant, for being a guest on my show. And you know what? That's internet, you guys. You see how that works? But I came back though. See how that works. All right. You know what? Thank you again to my fans tuning in to the Dr. Meleeka Clary show. Thank you again for following me on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. You could just Google me, X or LinkedIn or Snapchat. You can find me in all of these social medias. And my website, the drmeleekaclary.com. Please continue to follow me. And the movie, as you keep seeing in the trailer, the Three Coins Deception movie is still available on Prime Video. I love you guys. And if no one told you that, I love you. I'm in this thing called life with you too. Every day is different for me as well. I go through challenges as well. Don't give up. I just ask you, just go one day at a time and, just take it one day at a time, because I do the same. Okay, so no one's perfect here. I'm not judging you. I love you just the way you are, but let's try to make a change though towards positive and love. Let's practice love, people. So once again, thank you for tuning into Dr. Meleeka Clary show on the Bold and Brave TV network. I have a wonderful weekend, the rest of the day and a weekend to come. God bless you all and take care. Mwah.
You've been watching the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Tune in next week as Dr. Meleeka will help you shift towards a better life. But this show doesn't stop there. She'll provide helpful tips regarding surviving the entertainment industry and the judicial system with practical information. Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern, here on the Bold Brave TV network.